Okay, so in this video we will see what is Flask session and how we can create the client side sessions, how we can create the server side session, right? And what is the practical use of session, where we can see the sessions, right? Where we can store the session, what are all the different options. So in this video we will see about session in Flask. Sessions in Flask, yeah. So before dive into this topic, let me show you a few example. Okay, let me show you first few things. So if you open the developer tools, so I press F12 and the developer tool is open, you will see so many tabs here, like elements, console. So in the elements we have all the our HTML tags. So in the console, if we write any JavaScript code, the output will become here. So in the sources, right, from where all the files are coming, and the networks and the performance, memory, and the application. In the application you will see these things like local storage, sessions. Under the storage tab, we will see local storage, session storage, indexed, web SQL, and cookies, right? So these are basically the storage type. Like we have the database, right? SQLite 3, MongoDB, Redis, SQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL. So similarly we have the local storage browser databases, you can say. So we can store the data into the local storage as well. We can store the data into the session storage, IndexedDB, web SQL, in the cookies as well. But these databases or these storage are of very small size, even in the KBs. Like cookie size is approximately 4 KB, I guess. So size of cookies, it is 4096 bytes, around 4 KBs. So we can't store more than 20 cookies per site, right? So all these are the storage. So first thing is that if no one is available aware about this option, so because we will use this option multiple times in our in this video. Okay, so under this and also if under the cookies, right now we have 4 to 5 cookies available as per site. And if we click on any website, if I click on the anotepad.com, or I click on the google.com, I click on the Google Ads, or I click on this addthis.com, so I click on the notepad.com, so we see here name and value. So it is the value stored in the form of, you can say, dictionary, right? So we have the Python dictionary concept, right? So Python dictionary is like the key values pair. So we have the key and we have the value. So similarly in the cookies, so if we want to store any data into these storage, into the cookies, so we need to store in the form of a dictionary. So we need to give some name and we need to give some value, right? Okay, now what is the use of these storage? Why we want to store the data when we have the SQL database, MyDB2 databases, right? So MongoDB database, why we use what is the use of this storage? So basically let me show you one example. If I go to Amazon, right? So here my account is logged in, right? But I did not logged into my account, right? And if I close this tab and reopen this, right, and I could see I did not logged in into my Amazon account, and my account is already logged in. So how this is possible? right? Because I logged in once and automatically like it is checking the databases, and automatically my session like a session is activated, right? So session is basically, 1 minute, let me close this. So session is basically a time frame between when you logged in and when you logged out, right? So when I logged in into the amazon.co.uk, what Amazon like the code of Amazon like did is, it will store some session. Let me show you. If I go to the developer tab and go to the cookies and go to the Amazon cookies, so we see here session IDs, right? So here Amazon store one session ID here. So on the basis of these cookies, automatically my account get picked. If I delete all these cookies, you will see like I will not like manually sign out. I will just delete the cookies, and you will see like my account will automatically get logged out. Let me show you. So if I remove, I have removed all the cookies, right? Now I just refresh the page, you will see my account will be logged off. So I refresh the page and you see I got the sign in option now, right? So it like from where this information is getting picked, so it is picking the information from the cookies, right? So so this is the concept of the cookies. So using the cookies, my like it like you can say it create a one session. Okay, so till now what we have seen, we see like what all these how we open the developer options. 1 minute. Yeah, developer option, and under the developer option, like what is the use of cookies, and how the data is stored in the form of in cookies, like in the form of dictionary, in the name and value, and what is the use of cookie, like we saw it, right? So there is no need to log in, and it automatically like logged in. So we will see all this in practical, how we can like create all this stuff into our Flask website. So but okay, so let me open this. So I have already written a few codes. So let me open first file, app.py file, right? So this is the basic code. I just like import the like Flask class from the Flask module, and instantiate the Flask app, and I create a simple route, that is the index.html, and I create a login route, and I create the user route. So this code is not using any cookies, this code is not using any sessions, this is a normal our Flask code, right? So what it will do is, it will just if I like root like into this slash, it will just open the my index.html. If I wrote into this slash login, right? So if the request is post, it will like fetch the username, and once it fetch the username, it will like go to the user route, and it will display hello username. Otherwise, if the request is not post, then it will like render the same template again, that is a login.html. So it is not using any concept of session, so no session library imported above. So these are the normal libraries: render template, request, redirect, URL for. So this code is without sessions. So I will show you like what is the disadvantage of this code. So I have run this Python 3. So I have run this, right? So it is now started. Now I have opened this. So on our let me parallelly open my code as well. So nano app.py. So if I go to this slash route, right, so index page will open. So what index page is doing, it is doing nothing, it is just displaying index.html index page, that's it. If I go to the login page, it is just a very basic form. Let me show you the form as well. So cd templates nano login.html. So it is a very small form, right? It is a only form tab, and the method is post, and the action is it will like go to the login page, and one is a label, enter the username. So next is the text tab, and the third is the submit button. So next is the input type text, the third is the input type submit. So it's a very basic page. So if I enter anything Sumanshu and then do login, so what it will do is, now the request is post, it will redirect to URL for user. So what is user? So user is this function. So the URL of user is /user. So it will go to this. So I logged in. So it display hello Sumanshu. So hello, and the request.args.get the username, and it automatically getting the argument from this request.args.get username. So it is displaying. So now you know, like I already logged in, right, into this. So I already logged in, but when I go to the /user tab, it again display like none. So what I have to do is, if I go to another page, again every time I have to log in. So because like now the username is no more, right, because what I want is request.args.get is equal to like the username. So to display the username, what I have to do is, either I have to pass the request from one request to the another request, right? So let me show you how the HTML basically works. So HTML is a stateless. So what is in stateless? So we open one page, right? So means we put some request, right, and we get some response, right? Then we open another page, of same application. Let's suppose Amazon.com. and we get response. So we issue two requests, but the later request, that is this request, is unaware of any data passed via the first request. So this is the property of the HTML stateless. So they are not aware of the about each other state. So if this page is the login page, I log in into the amazon.co.uk, right, and let me show you amazon.co.uk. yeah, so let me log in once. So I put one request, right? So I put one request, that is the login page. Now I click on any other thing, let's suppose your lists, right? So still I logged in. How this wish list intro know about my account details? because because we are using the HTML only, right? So like HTTP, sorry, not the HTML, sorry, HTTP. So HTTP is stateless. So how the second request which I issued, that is the to show the wish list, how it is displaying my wish list, even though HTTP is the stateless protocol. So this request doesn't know whether the login request has been issued or not. So to achieve this, so we have two options: either whatever the data we have logged in from this, so that is the email and the password, so we have to pass this data to the another request, so that it will display my wish list, right? So we have this option. So the same thing I am doing here. So I am not using the concept of any session. So I am passing the data from one request to the another request, so that the other request display my name only from the same app. All right. So but in real life we not pass the data from one request to another request. What we actually do is, so we get the data from first request. So what we will do after this, we will store this data somewhere, that is in cookies, right? And when we hit the another request, what it will do is, it will read the cookies, and it will, after reading the cookies, it will display the content only for that user. Alright, so there is no need to pass the data from one request to the another to the another, right? So this is the advantage of session. So let me close this. So now I have another app. So now this is using the concept of the session. So in session we have two concepts. Let me delete this. In session we have two concepts, that is the client side session, other is server side session. So what it means is, so whatever the data we have passed during the login request, we can store that data into the client side session. So our client is browser. So in browser, where we can store in these storages, like either in the local storage, either in the session storage, or in the form of cookies. So session will store the data in cookie storage, not in the session storage or local storage. So it will store the data in the cookie storage. So first approach is, okay, do one thing, that is, whenever we issue the request, the login request, so we know the user ID, we know the password, right? So just store this data as a user ID value is like email, the password is the password, and if we hit another request, what it will do is, it will first check, read the cookies, and if we found the cookies, and it will verify the data from the database, it will display the other information for that user only. So how to store the data into the cookie? So this is like to storing the information within the browser. It is called as the client side session. So how to do this? So one minute. Yeah. So this code is to store the data from the client side session. So all the code is same, right? Only the thing is that we have imported this extra method, that is a session method. So from Flask import session, even it is not a method, it is a dictionary, it is a variable. So from Flask import session, and so when I logged in, so what I did is, so I told you that like a session will store the data in the form of the dictionary. So when I logged in, so this information I got, right, request.form.get username. So I am storing like it as a dictionary, like session, the name as a key, and the value as the value which I got from the form. So I am like storing the record as a session, right? Now if someone go to the index1 page, so there is no need to log in. So what it will do is, it will like check whether like I have the uh, uh, cookies of sessions available or not. So if we have the session available, so it will automatically like display the particular user, otherwise it will ask for the login. So let me show you python3 app1.py. localhost. So we don't have any route on the home page, so but we have that route on the, so I did the index1, right, shift F12. So right now, so okay, we have like opened this website. So right now we don't have any session available, right? So what I did is, so let me log in here. As soon as I press enter, what it will do is in the cookie storage it will store the session. So if I copy this value, so it is actually the base 64 encoded. So if I write base 64 decode and I open the first website, and if I decode it, see, you will see the information. So I pass that, I store the name as a Sumanshu Nankana because I passed this information only. So you logged in as a Sumanshu Nankana. So what is the advantage of storing the session? So now I have logged in. Now I close my tab, right? So let me close my tab. So I close my tab, right? Now I reopen it. Localhost 5000 index1, not login one. Is the session the session somehow deleted. Let me retry. So I logged in, so session gets stored. So I close this tab, I reopen the tab index1. So we could see you logged in as Sumanshu Nankana. How it know that I logged in as Sumanshu Nankana even though I close the tag? So what it will do is, it go and read my session object, because in the code I have mentioned, where is the code? So in the code I am importing the session object, and I am mentioning, so whenever like the person is trying to log in, so it will store all the information from the request or the required information into this session. And to store the things into the client side itself, so we use this session variable, or you can say session dictionary. Along with that, we need to use this secret key config in the configuration. So we need to define the secret key in the app.config, because session is like a much more secure, so it use the secret key concept. If we not define the secret key, so it will throw the error like stated that the secret key is not defined. So and on the logout route, what I am doing is I am like removing the dictionary value, right? So if I logged out, so it will actually removed it. So if I copy it, base 64 decode, Removing means it is like storing the value as a none. So see, so now it stored as a value as a null. So all these website na, like the Amazon or GitHub, any website, Facebook, any website, Twitter, we logged in once, and after few days, like again we logged in, right? So and we will see like there is no need to log in, and we automatically like already signed in, right? So why it treated as a signed in? Because their code is behaving in such a way. When we logged in first time, what they will do is they will like store our information into the cookies, right? So this is the concept of the client side, like to storing the information at the client side. But in real world, we never store the information at the client side, because as I show you, we can like decode this information. So right, so if we store the username, we store the password, or we store the any other confidential information into the cookie, so anyone like read this, right? They will just go to the like developer tools, and they will just copy this base 64, and they will just simply decode it, right? So that's why we always store the information at the server side. So now let me close this. Python 3 app2.py. So now this is the code of storing the information at the server side. So all the code is same, only we have few changes which we are doing. So first changing is this: we are, because if we use this library, right, from Flask import session, this will only store our object on the client side. So to store the information at the server side, the server side means, so on the server we have maybe some database like SQLite database, MongoDB database, or even in a form of file. So right, so if we want to store the information at the server side, we need to use the Flask session. So from Flask session, import the session. Also on the server, in what form we will save this information, whether we will save in the form of some database, whether we will save in the form of some file, or whether if it is a database, what type of database. So right now, so the first thing is, let's save in the form of file. So we will define, okay, the type is file system. So what it will do is, it will like create a file on our server. Let me show you as well. So ls, so let me remove this Flask session. So now we don't have any files, right? So what it will do is, as soon as I run the code, it will create a file, create a folder, that is the Flask session folder, and all the information, all the cookies information, it will stored on my server. So let me localhost 5000, right? So on the home we don't have any, so index 1. So till now we don't have any like session, right? So now as soon as what is this? What is doing the get request? Oh, 1 minute, something is wrong here. Request method is post only, then why it is routing to again login page? method is also post here. Why the get request is yeah, we don't have any session, so it will what happened to the code. Let me pause the video and let me see what the issue. Yeah, there was some space issue, there was some extra space, so I just removed that extra space. So there was extra space after this file system, so I removed that. So now let me show you index 1 ABCD. So now it logged in as a ABCD, and if I go to folder, you will see automatically this Flask session folder is created, and we could see the cookies are stored here, and it is the same cookie. The same cookie generally stored here, but it sometimes it reflect later on. So now if I copy this and close this and reopen this again, I logged in as a ABCD. So if I logged out and now I try, so my session treated as a null. So what it basically do is, so when we store the information at the server side, so the information will main information will be stored at on our server, but a few information, that is the session ID. What is the session ID? So it will store in our browser. So but if we decode this, it we will not get any information. Let me show you. So ls base64 decode. So see, now because we store the information at the server side, so you will not able to see okay what data I have entered. So when we store the information at the server side, what it will do is, it will just store a one ID here, and corresponding to that ID it will store all the information at the on my server. So when I again route to some different page, what first it will check this particular ID, and corresponding to this ID it will check in my database or the file system. So wherever we are storing the details, so it will find the detail there, and it will fetch all the details correspondingly, and it will not ask for the re-login. Okay, now so as of now we have stored the information as on a file system. Now let me show you, if we want to store the information in some database. So we have created some SQL Alchemy database. So what we have to do is, till now here everything is same. So we have to do is from SQL Alchemy, we will from Flask SQL Alchemy we will import the SQL Alchemy, right? So and we will like okay, give the database name in which database we will store, and we will like instantiate the like DB app, right? And we will also define the config like session SQL Alchemy is equal to DB. So you can like check the official documentation. Let me close this. Where is the official documentation? So if you go to the official documentation, so to use the Flask session, first we need to install the Flask session. So I forgot to mention this also. So here you can see, so session type is any session type, like we see the file system, right? We can store the data in the file system. So if we store we can store into the file system, right? So we can store into the MongoDB, we can store into the Redis, we can store into the Memcache, we can store in the SQL Alchemy. I'm not sure what is null session interface. So SQL Alchemy. So now we are like seeing the SQL Alchemy. So if we store in the SQL Alchemy, so we need to define a few more things here. So also like when we define into the MongoDB, so we need to define like these things as well as a configuration. So in this, like in the SQL Alchemy, we will like define the instance of the database connection. So session SQL Alchemy is equal to the instance is our DB. So session SQL Alchemy is equal to DB plus session SQL Alchemy table. So by default it will create sessions as a table. So if we want we want to store the details on the server in some another table, so we can use this keyword as well in our configuration. So but by default it will create the sessions as a table. So I will show you that as well. And any more thing? Yeah, that's all. So every code is same. We will just like define the configuration above. So I will like tell you about what is permanent session, lifetime and other thing as well, but leave this as of now. Rest everything is same. We will just define our app in our session function or session class, and rest everything is same. So we are using only the same like a key value pair, right? Storing the value as a dictionary only, but this time it will like store the values in our server, but where in our server? In the database. So is app3 is running? No, Python 3 app3.py. So I have run the app3 localhost, so nothing is on the localhost. Now the index one. So now I logged in as a Sumanshu. So even if I close it and come again, it will show as you are logged in as Sumanshu, because it will store the session. So let me show you where it stored the session. So we are using the SQLite database. So I go to the SQLite, I go to the tables, SQLite 3, one second, .quit ls db.sqlite 3, yeah, SQLite 3 db.sqlite tables tables. So we will see here sessions tables. So select star from sessions. So we will see like the cookies are now stored, the sessions are now stored here, sessions and some information now stored here. So instead of the client side, it is now storing on the our here like server side. Now in the banking application, you see like in the Facebook application, like you logged into the Facebook, right? And even after few days, like you again came and you did not logged out, and you after few hours or like even few days, you again like open your browser and open the facebook.com. There is no need to logged in, right? Because they maintain like the some duration of your session, the validity of your session. I think approximately it's 1 year. So let me check the validity for Amazon. shift F12. If I go to the Amazon.co and if I go to the session ID time, so not session ID time, there is a one option, not sure where it was. There is a option like which tell us like till how many. 17B64D code. No, not this option. But there is a one option like which shows that like the session is valid for how much time. But in the banking application, like you generally see, you logged into your banking application, and if you like don't browse any page for 2 minutes or for 3 minutes, your session got expired, right? And it will re-ask you for the login. So how it will do? So it will actually, there is a one variable nano app2.py, not app2, it's app3, nano app3.py. so there is a variable called as permanent session lifetime. So I mentioned that the minutes is equal to 1, so my session will be active for only 1 minute. So I will show you as an example here. Let me close it and I will start my application app3.py, right? So I started my application, I go to localhost and I go to the index page. Oh, 1 minute, index 1, and I any random information I am giving. So I logged in as a Sumanshu, right? So now I close this and I re-logged in. So I logged in as a Sumanshu, right? I closed again, I check again, I logged in as Sumanshu. Now we will wait for 1 minute and I will do the same process, but it will not show me the same message, though it will like throw me the login page again, because I set the lifespan of my session is 1 minute. So after 1 minute my session token will be expire. So just wait for 1 minute. So all these are basic like code. I have just extended from in all the version like app 1, app 2, app 3, app 4. So I extended a little bit in the first file, like I not use the file like session. I just passed the data from one request to the another request. In the second code, I use the concept of session, but I store the session within the browser. In the third, I store the session on the server but on the file system, and in the fourth code I store the session but in the form of database and also on the server. Rest everything is same. I think 1 minute is done. So let's wait for few seconds, and if I copy and if I close it, if I go again, see my session got expired and it asked me for the relogin, because I have mentioned here that what I mentioned here. There is some configuration which I mentioned here, right? app3.py, that is a permanent session lifetime, and it is minutes is equal to 1. So generally in the banking application, it's up to like their requirement whether they will allow their session for 1 minute, 2 minutes. Exit, Control C, clear. So we have seen a basic info about the Flask session, how we can create these sessions. Alright, so we can store the session on our server side as well, or also on the client side. If we want to store the session only on the client side, so we have just import the module from Flask, import session, right? And we will just store it as a key value pair. Whatever the value we will get from the form, we will just store into as a key value pair. But if we have to store the session on our server side for the security purpose, so we will use the Flask session module. So first we will like install the Flask session, and we will like from Flask session import session, and we will like define some configuration. Okay, whether we need to store it in as a file system or some MongoDB or SQL Kami, any database, and based on that, like we will like provide some extra information. So that's it about the Flask session. I will share the code if you want. I will these are not the like these are the dummy code just for to play for about the Flask session. I will like put the link in the description of the GitHub repo. You can, if you want, you can like download it from there.